What's up guys, ATCG here, welcome back to Yugioh Deck of the Day. Today we have the second part of the Sacred Beast profile. We used the casual cards for the profile we did last time. We tried to use all the cards that one could possibly want to play. We used all Sacred Beasts, we used the Fusion. We didn't use any hardcore, so-called try-hard meta cards like Needle Fiber and all that stuff that you're used to seeing in pretty much every single deck of the format. So now that we've done that, let's jump on to the deck that pretty much those who want to play this deck in a competitive local event, or maybe even at regionals, when these are back eventually, I hope. So I'm going to show you exactly what you need to play in this deck and how you need to use these cards in the deck, because I know that some of these cards may seem a little bit bricky, like people think that the Sacred Beasts are all bricks. Not all of them, but they have their uses. So let's jump into the deck. We'll show you exactly how you're going to play this deck. And before we begin, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more amazing content. And now, let's get to the deck profile. So to start off with the Sacred Beasts, not all three of them this time, just to play Raviel and Hamon. Unfortunately, Uriah is not good because he needs setup in order to have attack points. He gains attack for every trap in the grave. His backward removal effect is not that bad, but you basically want these monsters on the field to be able to live for themselves, because if you keep both of them on the field, then you can have Sacred Beast Awakening. Then that's how you pretty much have the skill drain for the entire game. If one of the Sacred Beasts is weak and your opponent just runs it over with anything, then you won't have the negation effect. So these 4K beaters are just what you need. They will become untargetable with a field spell. They won't be able to be destroyed. So you basically cannot deal with them unless you have something really specific in your hand. And of course, Hamon is actually more important because there's also Cerulean Skyfire, which makes it a negation if you have Hamon on the field. Moving on, 3 Dark Beckoning Beast. This adds any of the Sacred Beasts to your hand. You can normal summon 1 more Fiend in addition to your normal summon if it has 0 attack and defense. Pretty good, it's basically your starter. 3 Chaos Summoning Beast, you can tribute it, special summon any of the Sacred Beasts from your hand. All these special summons effects, of course, are ignoring summoning conditions, otherwise you wouldn't be able to summon them, because the Sacred Beasts' normal summoning conditions are a bit weird. For Raviel, you would have to tribute 3 Fiends, and for Hamon, you would have to send 3 face-up continuous spells to the grave, but these effects bypass those restrictions, so you can get them on the field very easily. Also, Chaos Summoning Beast searches your field spell for in Paradise by banishing this card from the graveyard, so you just have to play 1 copy of the field spell. It's very easily accessible. It's a very powerful field spell, but even if your opponent deals with it, that's totally fine. It's not part of your combo, it's just something as an insurance plan to make your Sacred Beasts more resilient and also give you more cards every turn. 3 Dark Summoning Beast. The effect of the Dark Beckoning Beast makes this card a lot more viable because it's a level 5, but since you can additional normal summon on top of it, then you can just tribute summon this because it has 0 attack and defense. And by tributing it on the field, you special summon a Sacred Beast from your hand or deck, and by banishing it, you add another Sacred Beast. That's how you get access to both your Sacred Beasts just right away. So it's very easy to get both of them on the field. You don't have to worry about either searching them or breaking on them. You will never have any problems with that. It's very easy to get them on the field. It's very easy to search all your cards or even draw more with your Fallen Paradise. So the deck is very consistent. It has a lot of 1-card starters, so it can do a lot. Now, if you want to extend the combos, play 3 Tennis Spirit at Hara, because it's the all-time free special tuner that you can use to access Needle Fiber if you don't have anything that you can do with 1 card, because cards like Jet Synchron are good in decks that do not need their normal summons, like Eldritch, but this deck does rely a lot on its normal summon, so it's not a viable option. But this card is very easy to use. Just special summon it and have anything else in the combo. Then you can just go for Needle Fiber and do the basic stuff that everyone has already seen. But I'm going to show you what we play in the extra deck to make this deck a little better, so it can actually fight the meta and not just rely on Sacred Beast Awakening to be able to have negates. 1 Dragon Buster Distraction Sword, because it's very easy to summon Union Carry with this deck and the Sacred Beasts. You can actually put this on your Raviel, so it has not only does it have 5,000 attack, but it also locks your opponent out of the extra deck. So yeah, that's basically how you win most of your games if you're playing first. If you're going second, play a lot of hand traps. Play 3 Ash Blossom, because it's a most generic hand trap. 3 Veiler, which is actually more important than Impermanence if you're playing anything with Needle Fiber related, because there's a combo with Celine and Access Code, and it's just a tuner, so you can get to your Needle Fiber. If you can't afford Access Code, it's still a much better card than Impermanence right now. And 3 Gamma with a 1 driver for 2 reasons. This actually helps you go through your plays, because your continuous spell unleashing the gate keys is actually very important to go through, and when you activate it, you don't have any monsters on the field. If you tribute your Dark Summoning Beast, it's also the same, because it tributes for cost to use its effects, especially on the deck, so if your opponent asks that, then you can use your Gamma there. And this is the card that you special summon from the deck with Needle Fiber. because you need a level 2 in order to be able to combo off with your Link Cross tokens. And Gamma does not have a restriction that cannot be special summoned from the deck by any effect on its own, so you can just special summon from the deck with Needle Fiber and do the thing. So even if you use it and you don't have your driver because it's banished, then the other 2 copies are not completely dead. You can use them for this combo, so it's a really good card. Now let's go to the spells. 3 Gates Unleashed. Gates is actually the best starter that I could possibly have. It's actually so good. It searches you any of the Sacred Beasts if you don't have them. It searches you your starters, and it also adds back continuous spells from the grave when you have a level 10 monster. So you can either add back itself from the grave if you have multiple copies and you have gone into the grind game with your opponent, or you can add back the next card I'm going to show you, which is 3 copies of Cerulean Skyfire, which is basically another negate. If you have Hamon on the field, you can turn it into an Omni Negate for spells and traps. So you just need to have a Hamon on the field in attack mode, then you switch to defense mode, and basically you just get a free negate. It's an effect that's a bit weird because it negates the resolution, so its text is a bit clunky, but trust me, it's pretty much a basic negate, so you can have that for your deck. So if you have your 2 Sacred Beasts on the field, if you have like Cerulean Skyfire, you can have 1 negate with that. If you have your Sacred Beast Awakening, you can have a Skill Drain. Unfortunately, you cannot use its Macrocosmos effect because you don't play all 3, but it was not very practical to summon all 3 on the first turn anyway, so it's not like you could do that. So you can have a lot of negates in addition to your hand traps, in addition to your Destruction Sword looking from the extra deck, and anything you can summon with your Needle Fiber combo. So you can have a lot of interruptions that can actually grind you through the game. And because you have such big beaters, if your opponent is not allowed to do anything during their first turn, then you can just run them over with Hamon and Raviel during the next turn. One Fallen Paradise, like I said, your Chaos Summoning Beast searches this card, so you just need to play 1. It's really good. It makes your Sacred Beast untargetable and can be destroyed by card effects, and it gives you 2 additional draws during each turn. So if this card stays on the field, then you can actually get an amazing amount of advantage just with this card. 3 Called by the Grave, because you need your plays to resolve. Unfortunately, this deck kind of struggles against Nibiru, like all Needle Fiber decks, because it's not like you can summon Appaloosa before the 5th summon or Herald of the Arclight before the 5th summon, because the Link Cross tokens actually fill your summons very quickly. But still, if it's just 1 hand trap that hurts you, then that's fine. If your opponent doesn't have it, you can do whatever you want, but sometimes you need even your Needle Fiber to not get asked or your Gates Unleashed to resolve. That's why you play both Gamma and Called by the Grave, just to make sure that you can be resilient when going first to any kind of hand trap your opponent might have. Then the last spell is 1 more for 1 because Chaos Summoning Beast is actually really important, or if you already have it, you can summon your Adhari, you can summon your Veiler, so you can go for your Needle Fiber play, so it's basically a 4th copy of a free special summon that gets you to Needle Fiber. The traps, 3 Sacred Beast Awakening. This card is absolutely insane for this deck because you can summon both Sacred Beasts you have in the deck very easily during the first turn, so you can have a skill drain just for your opponent. So it's actually better than skill drain because it negates all monster effect activated on your opponent's field. So even if they tribute something for cost, which Skill Drain would not work on, like if you tribute a Rescue, if you banish Rescue Rabbit to special summon from the deck and Skill Drain doesn't work on it because Rescue Rabbit is not on the field, but this card works on it. It's not like Skill Drain, so it's much better than Skill Drain, and it's only for your opponents. So if you have this with your 2 Sacred Beasts, if you have your Fallen Paradise, so they'll be untargetable, and you can have Distraction Sword on top of that, your opponent will be able to activate effects on the field, they will not be able to special summon from the extra deck, and you can see that there is not much your opponent can do when you have a setup like this. The last card is of course the one Skill Drain, because it's Skill Drain. If you play a deck with beaters, I think Skill Drain is a must in the deck. It's not as good as Sacred Beast Awakening, but you're not always going to have Sacred Beast Awakening, so having one more additional option as a win button on its own is really good. And now for the extra deck. Of course, the guy nobody wants to see in any deck, but you will see it in every deck, Needle Fiber. This card has made the format so repetitive because no matter what deck you're playing, this card is going to be in it. Even in decks like Eldritch, which we thought that were going to be control decks, they turn out to be combo decks just because this card exists. So yeah, I know you don't want to see it. That's why I made the casual deck profile of the deck. If you're more interested in playing this without all those broken cards that we see in the format, but I'm also giving this deck profile for those of you who want to play the deck to be as competitive and as powerful as possible. So Needle Fiber gets you your Gamma from your deck if you want to combo out, gets you your Veiler from the deck if you're going for the Access Code OTK, so you can do whatever you want if you're going first or you're going second. One Link Cross, you just use your Needle Fiber as material, special list, get your tokens, then Synchro for your Metal Marcher, and then bring back monsters and do the sign against them pretty much everyone knows. Union Carrier, this gets you to your Destruction Sword. It's very easy to summon. Also, with your Raviel, if it's 5000 attack, your opponent cannot deal with it very easily, especially if you have your Fallen Paradise on the field. When Dragoon of Red Eyes comes out, I think that you can incorporate this too, because You can summon a Link 2 during the combo, so it can either be Union Carry or Anaconda. I just decided to show you the deck profile as it is right now because there are still a couple months until we get Dragoon Red Eyes and the Megatins. But when that comes out, if you're feeling that Dragoon is more rewarding than Destruction Sword, then you can just replace your Union Carry with Anaconda. The Nightmares, Cerberus, Phoenix, Unicorn, standard, pretty much deal with everything your opponent has. Celine, because Needle Fiber gets you your Veiler. Veiler is a spellcaster, so you can just summon Celine. Celine will bring back your Veiler, and then you can go into the next card, Access Code Talker, which is basically Boral Sword 2.0, because it gets to 5300 attack, and you can pop at least 2 cards. So that's pretty much how you win most games, because it's 53, so we have like one of the 2 Sacred Beasts that's game, so it's very easy to pull off. One Appaloosa, in case your combo is a bit disrupted by a couple handlers, but you still are left with a couple monsters on the field, you can just use them for Appaloosa to have a couple negates. And Boral Sword for the same reason, but when going second when you get disrupted, so you can use this instead of Access Code Talker to go for game. For the Synchros, one Marcel Metamulcher, because it's the basic one you summon with using your Link Cross, because you use one Gamma and one Link-Cross token to summon this, then we'll bring back the Gamma, so you can do more stuff with this. Herald of the Arclight, same thing, you can just use your Metamulcher and another monster to go for this, and either have it as a floodgate and can also be a disruption. It's very easy to run over, but your opponent still has to waste their battle phase to do it, so that's fine as well. And one Draco Berserker of the Tenny, just in case your opponent decides to use a hand trap when you can actually use Gamma during your turn, so you can Synchro Summon into a level 8. That's actually both a disruption for when going first or for when going second. This card can actually deal a lot of damage, because if it destroys a monster by battle, it boosts itself by that monster's original attack and can attack again. So it's actually really, really good. And I play the rank 10 engine, which is Gustav Max and Liebe, because your Sacred Beasts are level 10s. So if your opponent is left with 2000 life points, you can just overlay them for Gustav Max, or if they have more life, then you can just summon Liebe on top of it and use to run over your opponent with his 6k attack points. So, yep, that's the deck, guys. This is the more competitive version. Like I said, we have the casual deck profile. If you're interested to see that, it's on the channel if you want to check it out. The deck is actually a deck right now. Konami finally did it. They made the deck playable. It's much better than the Egyptian gods right now. Sacred Beasts are actually better than the Egyptian gods. Yeah, who would have thought? We're getting Ra support very soon, though, so we might have a contender. We'll have to wait and see for that. But until then, we're going to keep you updated on any changes we decide to do on the deck. We're going to give you all the new deck profiles when new sets drop or new ban lists drop and something gets off the ban list or something gets hit. We're going to keep you updated on everything. So if you want to follow us, give the thumbs up to the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video, and we'll see you next time.